But also I noticed about this microphone after I bought it that like it picked up on so much more than I thought it was gonna. But it is a good mic. It's just not like I was looking when I was shopping for this mic. Sorry, we'll start the actual show in a second, but you're gonna listen to this first. I was looking at like, audio interface boxes and XLR stuff. I was gonna get like the real shit. I was gonna get like a real setup, but I just couldn't find anything. I was like adding shit to my like Amazon cart and looking at stores nearby, like Guitar Centers and stuff, and I just couldn't find like anything that was worthy of buying like 3 things. And then I just like went to Best Buy to like see if they had any just like regular ass microphones I could get, and this HyperX one was on sale. So I have the Quadcast, that's like the one that's only a red light and doesn't have the color customization.
By the way, Emmy is sick if you can't hear it.
Yes, I am. I was going to mention it after we rolled the intro. Roll the intro. Welcome back to Closing Shift. I am your sick host, Cosmic Emerald, and am joined by my partner in every way, Ron and Coffee, of course. Emmy and Mia, that is us. Welcome back to the show. This is beautiful episode number 11, and I would suggest you listen to episode 9 right before 11 for the best experience.
God damn it. We're only a minute into this and we're already referencing that tragedy. I walked through the streets of New York through blood and bone looking for my brother. He was in northern Canada.
Yes, I am sick. I do believe that whatever major illness my sister had last week, I think I caught it, and I've been very sick for a few days, and I went to work yesterday, and I probably shouldn't have, but it's only like 100 people or more,
Yeah.
that might have some thing. I don't know. I don't think I've mentioned what my job is like publicly. I don't want to, so whatever.
I'm not a super spreader. I'm a spreader who's super.
I'm a spreader. I spread everything.
It's spreader. Where?
Thinking of spread for some reason made me think of peanut butter, which made me think of the Cool Patrol music video, which made me think ew. Because of when Danny spreads. I can believe he did that because he, he's just like into what he does, but I don't think I could ever do that. It would make me feel so sick. I don't think I could spread peanut butter on my body.
Oh yeah, I mean, it'd be so oily. Like all that oil would just be bad.
Well, it's just like any material like that. It's just like I would be like, wow, I actually feel like ending my own life more than I ever have right now.
I think it would get cold quickly.
Oh, that too.
Yo, what if though you just like put something like you just spread like cement or something over your body, and then you have permanent armor.
Yeah, life hack. Cover yourself in cement and permanent life armor.
Life hack. Become Hovel the Rock.
I feel like someone's probably going to do that in the next, 20 years.
People have already done it.
Stupid. And
there are people who have already,
dip their entire body in concrete.
Maybe not their entire bodies, but people, have absolutely put their, hands and other body parts just, having concrete and whatever on it is actually really not good. It's really not good to have concrete on your skin. Just put that out there.
Yes. It's bad for skincare. It'll give you acne.
It'll give you less skin.
It'll give you a lifelong problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back. We're coming off of WrestleMania 40 weekend. Thankfully, Mia has unfortunately not seen the Raw after WrestleMania, but I can mention some of the details unless you want to save it to watch. But I will say that the segment at the beginning, there was a segment with Triple H came out and talked about how awesome of a weekend it was and said thank you a million times to the fans because they've been in Philadelphia all weekend. So Philadelphia has been huge supporting their whole thing because they basically did WWE. They basically did E3 for WrestleMania all week.
Yeah.
They did a bunch of events. They did a bunch of charity events working with local organizations and stuff. They actually at the Hall of Fame announced 4 local charities they were giving $500,000 to each or more or something like that.
That's cool.
They hosted Pat McAfee's show from WrestleMania on Monday morning and Friday morning. I listened to the Friday one. They had John Cena on because of that he was just like there. He was on Raw too, but I was gonna say the segment at the beginning of Raw was Triple H saying all that stuff, and then he asked Cody to come out so he could so Cody could celebrate defeating Roman Reigns' 1,300-day streak. It was cool, but then Cody Rhodes, after being out there for a little bit, you wouldn't believe who came out. It was Dwayne, and they basically teased that like The Rock verbally admitted that like he's gonna go away for a while, which
Thank God
was cheered, rightfully so, and he teased that he said, "You finished your story with Roman Reigns, but our story has just begun." So it seems like whenever he decides to come back, which I'm sure will be random and like they'll make it like a big deal, it seems like he's going to have some kind of deal with Cody Rhodes whenever he comes back, which is fine because it's not like now, so we don't have to deal with it yet. But I'm trying to remember what else I was going to mention about it. Oh yeah. So sorry, my whole point in bringing that segment up was that it was the most awkward WWE segment I've ever heard or seen. The whole like crowd chanted at one point, "This is awkward," because they just like, for some reason what happened is like, do you remember seeing like The Rock's like championship that he got from like Muhammad Ali that's like not like a real championship, but he just like had a belt with him? So The Rock like asked Cody Rhodes if he could like hold the Universal Championship, like literally, like he said, "Do you think the Final Boss could hold that title?" And not like beat him for it, like hold it right then, just for like a second. And Cody Rhodes said, "I will, as long as you let me hold yours." So they swapped championships and like silently held each of them for like 2 minutes and then gave them back to each other. And that was the whole segment.
Okay.
In terms of that. And it was so fucking awkward. And me and Chandler were watching it and being like, what are they like setting up? I don't understand. What the fuck is the point of this segment?
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to win a commemorative title?
It was just like so weird. I don't even like, to some degree though, The Rock did come out to like legitimately just like acknowledge his new tribal chief, Cody Rhodes, but to like congratulate him and stuff and be like, "You did it. The Rock beat your ass like a dog, and you went on and you finished your story and you conquered Roman Reigns. But also don't forget about me."
Don't you? We are entering a new era of WWE.
Right. What people are calling the Paul Levesque era, which is rightfully so, because Triple H, being the chief content officer, has been making WWE a lot better of a product. I mean, and he's had a positive influence on it since like the mid 2010s, but you know, that was like after he played his like heel persona of being like the boss technically, but Vince was still running. He who shall not be named was like still running everything,
even though we just named him
and micromanaging him. Yeah, you're right. Ugh, fuck, I fucked it up.
Now we have to say his name 2 more times to summon him.
No, you can't say Vince McMahon 3 times. Don't. My mom will kill us if he shows up.
That's the wall.
That's the wall. Yeah, we did a watch party in my Discord server of WrestleMania 40, and Mia sent this like clip of this like old wrestling clip. That wrestler's like name was The Wall, right? It was like the clip of Hulk Hogan screaming, "That's the Wall, brother."
Yeah. Hey, Wall!
Because he was on like a 15-story building, and the whole segment was so weird.
Oh, he's got his hand up. That means chokeslam.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you were there, it makes sense, but I wasn't there. I wasn't born when that segment happened.
That's the Wall, brother! I am glad that wrestling now is like a more serious thing, while also being like, it's really fun, but it's also not like cartoonish. Like, it's like you can, you know, they're doing a really good job of like, you can acknowledge very well. God, my neighbors are being so fucking loud today, as always. It's like you can acknowledge within.
You can acknowledge your tribal chief.
Yeah, acknowledge your tribal neighbor.
Paul Levesque.
Even within WWE now, it's like it's so much easier to acknowledge like what is a storyline, what is like sort of the characters of these people, and like it just feels a lot healthier. It doesn't feel like they're trying to like make a cartoon out of it. That's like trying to always be the most big, exciting thing just to like get like cheap attention is kind of what a lot of like it was under under He Who Shall Not Be Named again.
He who should not be named anymore. Let's say.
You know, a lot of like it's a lot less desperate is what it feels like now. It feels like it's very confident in itself, and it's just like doing its thing, taking it. It's going like through these courses of this story that's like well planned and like very well coordinated. Right. Whereas before it was just like, okay, so we can get like 13 pounds of gerbils for this fight, and that'll get us like 10 more views.
Yeah, remember when they used to bring people? I'm sorry, is the correct term dwarfism?
Well, like
I don't want to.
You could say people with dwarfism, or you could say little people is also a very commonly accepted term.
Is that accepted? I thought little people was like the thing that was super offensive. I mean, I know the M word is, but okay.
I see like I follow people like in that space on TikTok, and that's like they say that like they prefer like the terms little people and little person.
Okay, I was gonna say. Remember when they used to bring little people on into wrestling, and they made a whole character called Hornswoggle, who was just a little person that was supposed to be a leprechaun because he was a little person.
Yeah.
And also they had the Little People Royal Rumble, which only had like 6 people in it. And
which is crazy.
By the way, which had like Hornswoggle and then little people versions of other wrestlers. Like there was little John Cena, and like it was. That has to be. I cannot imagine that's not offensive.
No,
like,
they really
so
dipped
bad.
into like P.T. Barnum territory.
But that was Vince McMahon. He just did anything he thought was like hilarious, or he thought was cool, or he thought was serious, or he thought was dramatic. I guarantee you, like he could sit in a room full of creative people, a conference room full of creative people, and if they had like 7 banger ideas, he would still at the end of the day just do whatever he wanted to do.
He saw like different personalities and different people as just toys, basically, that he could use in whatever way that he wanted for his own amusement.
Right. Also, what always felt like such a conflicted thing about Vince was that, he who shall not be named anymore. I'm sorry.
No, we can talk about him in a mature context, because it's like, I mean, if we're gonna be talking about like the problems with a person, we should say who that person is.
That is true. Also, like. We're talking about him in a past context. We're not like talking about the whole thing. Shit, what was I gonna say? I think I was gonna acknowledge my tribal chief. I think I was gonna acknowledge something he did. It's so hard for me to say the word acknowledge now and not say that. It's like common. It's like saying oos. Like
oos.
Shit, I really can't remember what I was gonna say about Vince. Oh, never mind. I do remember what I was gonna say about Vince. I'm sorry. What he used to do a lot was like. People that were like jacked back in the day, like Brock Lesnar and The Rock and John Cena, were like put up at the top. Obviously, if you've seen anything or researched wrestling champions for like 5 minutes, you'd see how many championships each of those people have had. He-manification. Right. What always felt like such a conflicted, hypocritical thing he would do is like he would bring these indie stars on, like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and Samoa Joe and shit, bring them into WWE and then not elevate them at all because they weren't like the jacked guys. They weren't like the Triple H's and the Shawn Michaels and the John Cena's. Yeah. And I mean, Vince, like, just like for how many people he sexually abused, he just like sucked at John Cena's cock all the time. So like that's why it took the power of the crowd, like fighting for like without the WWE audience. Most of those indie guys who got their push would have never gotten it because Vince literally saw no potential in people like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, but they all had like amazing moments, but that's only because the crowd like fought them on it. Vince McMahon,
his whole thing with how he treated wrestlers and like the hierarchy of them is that anytime he would bring in a new wrestler, it was basically just to try and feed like his currently existing, like whoever was on top. Like anytime somebody new would come in, it wasn't because like they were going to have a shot of their own. It was like, you know, like how they hire shorter refs. It's just like, this is going to be somebody that like is just going to be a proving ground for the number one to stay number one. Just so that way, like they're not just fighting in circles. Like it's just pure fodder.
You're probably right. That is exactly why they brought those guys up, was just to elevate the other guys, which is weird too, because a lot of those guys did get a pretty big push when they came in. Like after Daniel Bryan came back after being fired after like his first day because he choked out Justin Roberts. By the way, he was like confused because he was told to go out with the Nexus and create like a ton of chaos. So he like choked Justin Roberts with his own tie. So he was like the only one that got fired that night. And when he came back, he like won the World Heavyweight Championship pretty quickly and was like pushed. And he had a whole program with Kane, Team Hell No, which was hilarious. For reference, if you've ever seen that clip of them being like in a restaurant and like acting like they're nutting and like so loud in the middle of the restaurant, it's very funny.
I have not seen that.
Oh, I will happily show it to you. It's them just like screaming, yes, 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 in a restaurant. And it's like Kane in his like demon suit and Daniel Bryan with no hair like doing that just in a booth.
It's crazy.
Like clearly probably not a real restaurant with like paid extras, but like it's such a funny clip. And CM Punk also, when he came in, he won the Money in the Bank championship at WrestleMania. They before they had a pay-per-view called Money in the Bank, they used to do it at WrestleMania, and he won it twice in a row and had both successful cash-ins for the World Heavyweight Championship because he was on SmackDown, and that's where that was at the time. And he also had a whole program with like The Undertaker and stuff. He just like around like 2010 he fell off, and then that was right before the pipe bomb and all that happened with John Cena. That was genuinely, like, honestly, the feud between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes is like one of the most real ones since then, I would argue.
Yeah.
Like John Cena and CM Punk's feud blurred the lines like so hard in the same way that this one did. But this one definitely did it more.
Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is an actual Dark Souls storyline.
You mean in the way that it like 2 years and a lot of patience to finish?
It's like literally like Roman Reigns being like on top for 1,300 days and just like sitting in the throne for a really long time, not doing anything with it, just letting that power wither. Like, yeah. And then Cody Rhodes coming out of nowhere 2 years in to like be the one to usurp him. And like going through this whole thing of like working up to Roman Reigns, like that is literally the plot of Dark Souls. There it is.
I choose you, Roman Reigns. He said that at that press conference.
Roman Reigns is the soul of Cinder, and Cody Rhodes is the Ashen One. And now I really want somebody to make a mod that replaces those two characters.
Yeah, can somebody fully model Roman Reigns in like Dark Souls attire and put it in?
God, that'd be so funny.
That would take so much time to do, probably.
Yeah.
Game designers, get on that.
People put a Honda Civic in Elden Ring.
In what way?
Like a drivable Honda Civic in Elden Ring.
Just like, that's it?
That's it.
Just like one Honda Civic? That's it?
Yeah, it's just, they just added...
You get one Honda Civic? Does it like, can you like powerfully run over people and stuff?
I don't know. I haven't used the mod. I just know it exists.
Oh, I'd spend $60 to drive a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure somebody in the audience has heard the story of my Honda Civic, which is a 3-year-long story and is terrible. But I want to talk about wrestling first.
Yeah, let's talk about this 4-year-long story that's good.
Yeah, right, literally. I believe, I don't remember, I went to the Wikipedia for WrestleMania XL so I could remember the matches and the victors.
My name is Vector, with both direction and magnitude.
I wanted to... I don't know how to read Roman Reigns' real name, but I'm looking at it now, and it's not even close to what I thought it was, because he always says, like, my real name is Joe, and his middle name is Joseph, and that's where he gets that from.
Suppose so, Joe.
Probably just what he goes by, because he's more embedded in American culture than Samoan, but his name is Samoan, if you didn't know. And I'm trying to... Oh, yeah. So his title reign was 1,316 days.
That's quite a long time.
And this white guy came in and ended it.
Yeah. American Nightmare came in to manifest destiny.
But, yeah, I figured I'd pull up the matches so we could go over, like, the main ones and our feel of the matches, if you will.
Yeah.
But the first match of the entire weekend was... the beautiful, wonderful, amazing mommy Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, who retained her World Heavyweight Women's Championship against Becky Lynch. And that match was great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I loved both of their makeup. I still remember their makeup because I would love to do Rhea Ripley's makeup on myself that she had that day. And Rhea Ripley is definitely a star that I honestly feel bad for Becky Lynch. I feel like she's getting like shafted really hard right now, but...
yeah.
I'm sure something will come up for her eventually. Also, the WWE draft is coming up soon. Something might happen there with her. But I'm curious because now there's, like, I don't know how many championships exactly there are total, but I think SmackDown just like lost all of them that they had, so there's like no championships on SmackDown anymore, except for literally the two biggest boneheads in the company holding the tag team ones.
Oh yeah.
I genuinely can't believe that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller won those. Like, there were so many more deserving people that could have won it, bro. But speaking of those tag team championships, the next match after Rhea Ripley's and Becky Lynch's was the six-pack tag team match for the Raw and SmackDown championships individually, which is nice that they split them back up because them being Universal was getting tiresome. But one of my picks for that match, the Awesome Truth of The Miz and R-Truth, won the Raw championships, which I am really happy about because I love The Miz and Truth. I have been watching WWE long enough that I've seen them both come a very long way in terms of their personas. Like, I've been watching R-Truth since before he was like comedy all the time, and The Miz back when he was just a dick and not like a commendable one. Because I look back, all the heels that like as a kid I was like, fuck these guys are the worst people on the planet, because I was 8 years old and they were heels, so they were doing a good job. I've looked back and been like, damn, I really appreciate their heel work actually. Like, they really got me to hate them. Like, they were good at it. Like, The Miz, arguably one of the best heels of all time, in my opinion. He's really good at talking, and he's really good at speaking. And it's funny because the first time he ever came out to speak on the mic, he botched the shit out of it. He was supposed to promote like a diva, voting for diva competition, and he forgot the phone number you were supposed to text to vote.
That's funny.
And he had it like written on his wrist, and it was so obvious and bad.
I feel like he should have just played into it.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, it was like 2006, and he was scared to get like fired.
Oh,
so
yeah, in that era.
I understand why he didn't. But yeah, so that tag match, just to be more clear, if you didn't know, it was A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus the Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day versus DIY of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I believe is how you say that name. The New Day?
New Day?
And New Catch Republic, who is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And there were a ton of crazy spots. Oh yeah, and the best part of that match was Snoop Dogg's commentary. I forgot. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I'm thinking of the tag match from the next night. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg was night 2.
Yeah, he did the Bobby Lashley.
Night 1 had Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah, no, that. Also, the audacity of WWE to they made a YouTube video that was called Best Entrances from WrestleMania 40, and the thumbnail is Lil Wayne's.
Ain't no way. Wayne.
That is so disgraceful. That's like the worst thing I've seen them do in a while.
It was so bad.
I was like, dude, you cannot just give him credit because he agreed to show up. That's so unfair.
And if you haven't seen that and you want a quick brief rundown of Lil Wayne's entrance in WWE WrestleMania 40. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It was so bad. Like, Jey Uso's theme just played, and it was...
Like, he was supposed to do, like, a musical kind of performance as he walks down the ramp, but, like, there was just, like, kind of music playing in the background, and he was just, like, just every, like, 10 seconds or so, just like, haha, yeah! Yeah,
it was so fucking bad. But, yeah, so the match after that six-pack tag match was Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar, which was a good match. You know, they had that whole thing with, like, those Eagles players. You know, that match was just good. The next match after Rey Mysterio and Andrade was Jay and Jimmy, which was an unfortunately kind of mid-match. Jay won, which was obviously probably going to happen, but
of course, the
match was like okay. They literally had a cooler spot during the Cody and Roman match than the spot they had was cooler than their entire match. It had
a couple interesting moments though, but yeah, it was like you knew where it was going to go.
Yeah. But also, like, you know, they had that moment where, like, Jimmy was like, I'm sorry, but, like, he was lying, and then he, like, punched Jay, and it was like, that was, like, the most obvious thing ever. Like, I saw Jimmy being bullshit, like, coming 2,000 miles away.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I've been around for a while.
Well, because, like, there was literally no way that, like, they could establish, like, Jimmy turning at that moment when there was going to be a bloodline match later that night.
Yeah, it was just kind of odd. Anyway, the next match was the beautiful, and I'll just say it once for all three of these women, even though they all deserve it, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi defeating Damage Control in a just standard 3-on-3 tag match.
The only people with coordinated outfits.
Yes, their outfits were beautiful and coordinated. It was dope.
It was incredible.
Their entrance was dope, and they just, yeah. I mean, those are three just beautiful stars, like some of the top women in the wrestling world right now. I'm very glad Naomi came back to WWE so she could be part of it. And the next match on the card was Sami Zayn defeating Gunter's Intercontinental streak, which was awesome.
That was good.
He beat Gunter for the Intercontinental Championship, ending his 600-something day reign, which was dope. It's funny because, like, almost every championship, I think Rhea was the only champion at WrestleMania that retained, literally.
I think so, yeah.
Which is crazy because I don't know if that's ever happened, that, like, every championship was put on the line and 90% of them were lost, or were the title changed hands. And then the next match, of course, was the main event of night one, which was the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. And the Bloodline won, which was, bound to happen so that they could set up. It was basically just an excuse to have no disqualifications in the other match.
I'll say, like, that match, that ended up setting up night 2 in an amazing way, I will say. Because
for sure.
In that match, Seth Rollins was really getting Seth freaking Rollins was really just, like, getting turned into a puddle.
Yeah, he was getting freaked.
Yeah, by Dwayne and Roman. He was, like, by the end of the fight, he wasn't even there. Like, he was just gone. And so, with his fight being the first on the docket for night 2, it created a lot of tension. We were just like, how the hell is he going to do anything tomorrow?
No, there were just so many. Seth Rollins really, like, sold for everybody else to rise this WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Especially, the weirdest part, too, is that, like, he barely recovered from his injuries enough to be there, and he took way more shit physically than he probably needed to. Like,
oh yeah,
his doctors are probably gonna be like, are you always this stupid?
Well, I think to be fair to, like, him and his ability, is that I think that, like, he was selling. I don't think that Dwayne Johnson pulls his punches.
You mean that, like, you think he, like, he hits?
He seems like he's overly rough.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't think The Rock would be so well respected in the WWE. Well, I mean, I guess a bunch of people there hate him right now, but he was, I mean, I've never heard his status as, like, a safe performer, but I always saw him as pretty safe. A lot of people liked working with him. Even CM Punk liked working with him, which is crazy.
I kind of get a vibe from him these days because of, like, how little self-control he has with language in the ring.
Yeah.
Even the fact that, like, that hurts his own bottom line with his ownership, that, like, he can't keep his mouth clean when, like, he's in the middle of a match, and he had to be censored more than anybody else.
Literally. He was put in, like, FCC timeout, like, a million times. He was the worst behaved on the playground.
Yeah.
But also, I will say, and please believe me, from the bottom of my heart, I am not trying to defend The Rock. I swear to God, I'm not trying to do that. Like, please do not take this as that. It would really hurt my feelings to take this as that. I'm begging you, do not think I'm defending The Rock.
Please.
I really, like, mean that. I'm not defending The Rock. I don't like his behavior on the TKO board. But I will say that even in previews of the upcoming WrestleMania behind the scenes documentary, which I'm really excited for, The Rock, like, talked about, and Triple H talked about too, how, like, The Rock was, like, the one who recognized that the move to change from Cody and Roman to Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, The Rock was, like, one of the first people to recognize that that was, like, a super bad decision and, like, immediately change it. Like, The Rock definitely, like, behind the scenes did want Cody to finish the story. Like, I think he wouldn't have legitimately been able to get a place on the TKO board if he didn't know, because he's been one of the most in touch people with the fans over the last, like, 2 decades or more.
If he wanted to make it Rockamania, then, like, he wouldn't have a place there.
He would have, like, like, he's probably, like, a super universal WWE undisputed egomaniac champion, but he's definitely in touch. He's, like, he loves wrestling enough that he wouldn't want to, like, fuck up his reputation with the fans and stuff, besides, like, being a heel. Like, he did it on purpose, and people, like, can understand that because, like you said, we can, like, acknowledge that these are storylines and stuff now, and, like, that these are characters, but also it's, like, the lines are blurred a little bit and it's more real, but, like, exactly what Mia was saying.
It can be self-aware, but you don't know when it, like, shifts in and out.
Right. It's a very, like, self-aware fandom to be a part of now. So moving on to Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday.
Sunday.
We had Drew McIntyre defeating Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was
Who could believe it?
a cool 2 minutes for Drew McIntyre before CM Punk revealed that he was faking still being injured and beat up Drew McIntyre before Damian Priest came down to finally cash in his Money in the Bank contract and beat Drew McIntyre and became the new World Heavyweight Champion.
That was so hype.
So that was awesome. That was one of the coolest cash-ins I've seen in a while.
It was nice in the post-show interview, Paul being like, everybody's been calling Damian Priest a moron for not cashing this in. Just trust the process.
Yeah, like, just wait and you'll see.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Damian Priest also had a segment in the post-show press conference where he, like, opened up a lot and was like, you know, like, he said, like, 10 years ago I was homeless and now I'm standing here World Heavyweight Champion. You know, if I can do that, anybody can do that.
And he made Twitter #1 trending bisexual Undertaker.
He did do that, yes. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say that I think Drew called him that on Raw. I think. He called him something Undertaker, but I don't remember the first word, but it was probably that because the crowd laughed.
That's great. Because also Drew McIntyre in his promo with CM Punk before WrestleMania being like, careful, Punk, don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, no. He was like, I could get canceled for talking like that. But also, CM Punk, like, they were talking about CM Punk being the guest referee for the match, and he was like, I don't know if I could be unbiased against these two dipshits.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre was like, it's a PG show, Punk. It's PG.
Yeah.
That segment was so funny.
I love their beef. It's so funny.
Yeah, that segment on Raw before WrestleMania with Punk's, Rollins, and McIntyre was definitely just three wrestlers having fun in front of the crowd.
Oh yeah, like everything about that is just pure fun.
Yeah, which is like the best part of it, I think, too, is that like the wrestlers just kind of get to have fun to some degree.
They get to be like non-controlled personalities to an extent.
Right. And the second match of the night, of Sunday night, was the Pride, which is apparently what Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford are called. Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, against the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross, Akam or Akam, and Rezar. I didn't know these names. Yeah, it was that match. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits won the match, but that was the one where Snoop Dogg was on guest commentary, and my favorite moment from his commentary, I just want to say, and if you have one too, I would love to hear it, but is where I don't remember what Bobby Lashley was doing, but it was a spot with Bobby Lashley and Snoop Dogg, like, I don't know how to describe how he said this, but he was like, oh Lord, be careful, Bobby, like, with like a shaky voice. Like,
yeah, it's like, I think he was
like, be careful, Bobby, oh Lord. Like, it was
I think he was probably beating somebody with a chair at that point.
It, like, he sounded like a old Southern grandma. Like, it was so funny. I don't know how to describe it.
No, I think my favorite thing from that with Snoop Dogg commentating was when they set up like the double sets of the tables, and he was like, "Oh no, that's Grandmama's table.
Yeah,
gather around for Thanksgiving. Is he gonna break her table?"
He was like, "No, you're getting at the family reunion table, y'all."
Yeah, he's like getting the family reunion table.
I also love how many times Snoop Dogg was like, "Oh shit, what was that?" Like,
oh yeah, and then like constantly just like, "Oh, not his back."
Yeah, it's just,
oh, his back's gonna hurt.
Oh Lord, be careful, Bobby.
Okay.
It just made me. Just that clip is so funny.
It's so good. Everything about Snoop Dogg commentating anything is always amazing.
Yeah, if they ever put that like full match on YouTube, I'm just gonna go through the entire match and clip all of Snoop Dogg's best lines.
If that match is on YouTube, I'll try and find an audio clip of him saying that, and I'll put it in here.
God, watch your back, Bobby. Oh Lord.
WWE, please understand that we are not trying to steal from you. That is just the funniest commentary line I've heard in like, oh wait, no, it's not actually. Well, it's one of the funniest lines I've heard on commentary, but there was a line from Michael Cole I'll talk about later because it was during the Cody Rhodes and Roman match. But anyway, after that tag match was LA Knight defeating AJ Styles, which was just a one-on-one match, but both of them brought their A game. It was a good match.
I seem to notice a significant lack of after that LA Knight.
I was about to say, we all love LA Knight. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, it was cool to see LA Knight win LA Knight and AJ Styles are both two guys that came from the independent scene. They've been
LA Knight
yeah.
in his Slim Jim car.
Yes, he did pull up in the Slim whip. And
The Slim Mobile.
yeah, in the Slim mobile. In the gym mobile. But
And he gave the keys to a little old lady.
he did. Because she won some contest apparently.
The Slim Jim sweepstakes.
Yeah, like which sounds like something they do on Disney Channel like 20 years ago. But anyway, yeah, we all love the megastar with everybody saying LA Knight, yeah. And the next match was the United States Championship match, which was triple threat between Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, where Logan Paul retained. And it also featured I Show Speed in a Prime outfit. And Randy Orton, he barked at Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton kicked his ass, and before he RKO'd him on the commentary table, he barked back. He was like, "Ruh, ruh, ruh, ruh," and then he RKO'd him, which is a hilarious clip.
That whole match was amazing.
Yeah, that match was really good. The spot at the end with Logan Paul soaring like 20 feet in the air before landing on Kevin Owens was awesome.
Logan Paul pulling up in the Prime truck,
He did.
Kevin Owens pulling up in a go-kart that just has KO duct tape on the front.
Yeah.
And he reverses back off the ramp to pick up Randy Orton.
Which was fucking hilarious. By the way, side note prediction for the future based on how they've been recently. I think because Randy Orton's been in like a ton of tag teams. That's like one of his most famous tropes is every few years he has like a tag team with somebody who's really like good or funny. And I think the next one's Kevin Owens, and I think they're going to call it RK Owens.
Gotta be.
That's the name I predict because it's too good. And if it happens, I'm going to come on this show and scream "I told you so" at all of you.
No, because like they were so hyped together.
Well, they're just they've been hilarious for like weeks before that, but even then, like, you know, like Kevin Owens did Randy Orton's like slamming of Logan Paul on the table, and Randy Orton was like, "Well, I think they were like talking about it like analytically after." Randy Orton was like, "Well, you know, I'm a little taller, so I think it does the effect more. It looks better to the crowd and stuff." Like during the match, they're talking like this. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I fucking love them. I hope RK Owens happens. I'm campaigning right now for RK Owens. Get it trending on Twitter.
RK Owens 2024.
And Triple H, if you'd like to use that name, I'll allow it this time. I'll allow it.
As long as you let us use the Snoop Dogg clip, we'll let you have RK Owens.
Yeah, that'll be the trade-off for sure.
Yeah. You know, it's saying a lot about Lil Wayne's entrance when I Show Speed had a better appearance.
That's true. Yeah. Next match was Bayley versus Io Sky, where Bayley took Io Sky's WWE Women's Championship, which was also a very good match, and I'm very happy for Bayley. Very deserving championship win. Because that's especially because, you know, the two matches that were in a row for the, you know, you could say women's main event of Bayley and Io Sky versus the men's main event of Cody and Roman. Bayley, they were both the ones to win the Royal Rumble this year, the 2024 Royal Rumble, which is the funny part because before Cody was champion, every time Samantha Irvin announced his entrance, she would say, like, now coming to the ring from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 222 pounds, he is the winner of the 2023 and 2024 Royal Rumble, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I love
the whole setup.
I love when it takes 5 minutes to finish announcing a wrestler's accolades. But yeah, Bayley defeated Io Sky. It was a good match. Io Sky had not defended her title in like forever, so it was nice to see it get off of her because I'm tired of it as a fan.
And it was a lot more interesting retrospectively after Royal Rumble. We didn't really have much stake in Bayley at Royal Rumble, and we're like, why did she win this? What's she got going on? But then with the knowledge of like the storyline happening with Damage Control, we were like, oh, that's why this is interesting. And then it was interesting.
Right. That was definitely a shift in understanding over the course in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But anyway, now we make it to the entire reason we're doing this whole event. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Yes!
It was probably in the top 5 matches that have ever happened. It was a fantastic match. There was a part of it when The Rock came out that he had to be censored for saying fuck so many times that the entire feed was silent for like 6 full seconds. It was fucking hilarious. Also, side note, jumping back to the Bloodline match from Saturday night, it was really funny when he was yelling at the referee. It was like, if you count me out, I will fucking fire you. I will fire your ass.
Yeah. And they caught it like 6 seconds too late.
I was going to say, yeah, they censored The Rock like 4 seconds too late.
They were on it night 2,
Yeah.
but night 1 he was just like rampant.
I think Paul gave them a talking to and was like, you guys got to get on that more.
I think Logan Paul was also.
Oh no, please, not another one.
Please, Jake's my brother. He also had some issues during his match, but like it was like much lighter and like way harder to hear, so like he kind of got away with it.
Yeah. Plus, I think genuinely, well, I'll talk about this a little bit after Cody versus Roman. We can talk about it. It was amazing match. Like I honestly would love to see. There's like people who score wrestling matches. I would love to see like the score of that match because it's genuinely. I mean, not only was this like. It lived up and surpassed, in my opinion, the biggest WrestleMania ever. The title people were giving it because it was a phenomenal WrestleMania. Like the Money in the Bank cash-in spot, the women's championship matches.
It's probably the most important thing to happen in 13 years.
Yeah, in wrestling for sure. Like it's probably the most like world-changing event after. I mean, I can't even think of something to compare, to be honest. Like it's
John Cena versus CM Punk in 2011 is what I'm referencing there.
Yes, CM Punk leaving the company with the WWE Championship until he came back 2 weeks later. But anyway, it was for the bit. The whole pipe bomb thing. The pipe bomb was the last thing like that sent the world into like array about wrestling. Like, did CM Punk just like change the world? Was basically what like everyone was saying.
Yeah.
And he brought so many eyes back onto wrestling back then. And then just real quick, what like in the 2010s kind of like suppressed how many people were watching wrestling was kind of when the Authority storyline was happening and not as many people cared that much. And then Daniel Bryan was another indie star that came in and drew so many eyes in. But anyway, Cody versus Roman was dope. In the middle of it, Jimmy Uso came out to prevent a pinfall that was going on, and then Jey Uso came out and speared him off of the ramp into like a table like probably 6 feet or more below, which was fucking crazy. Because on Raw he had a match and had bandages all over his ribs because he was fucked up.
Yeah, he went down like head and chest first, 8 feet onto 2 tables.
Yeah, that's
and like I'm pretty sure like it looked like the padding was too far behind.
Yeah, like what impressed me was that Jay was willing to take such a dive, like, because he couldn't have physically been seeing where he was falling. Like, he just trusted the spot. And that's some main event Jey Uso shit. Yeet. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge main event Jey Uso with a yeet real quick. And then after that spot, it was The Rock came out at some point. I don't remember, like, at what exact point he came out, but The Rock... Or no, I'm sorry. Solo Sikoa came out after that to break up a pin. He beat up Cody and then put Roman like over him to pin, and Cody, he did that like twice, and then Cody kicked out, and then John Cena came out to whip his ass, which was cool. And then after John Cena was out there for a minute beating up Solo Sikoa, The Rock came out and they met face to face in the ring and recreated the famous moment from WrestleMania 22, I believe, where Hulk Hogan and The Rock like looked opposite ways at the crowd in a very famous way. Then he said, "You can't see me," and got rock bottomed. And then The Rock was about to whip Cody Rhodes with the belt again, and then we heard that famous bell sound, and then the arena went dark, and The Undertaker came out to choke slam The Rock, which was, I was going to say this earlier and held what I wanted to say about this until I talked about The Undertaker coming out, but when you hear that tomb, that bell, it was the same exact reaction from the audience, like, oh, like you can hear when they chant like yay and when they chant like, oh shit. It was the same exact sound from the crowd as when CM Punk's music hit at Survivor Series. It was awesome. Like those are two of my favorite moments in the last like 15 years ever, like in anything ever.
Now, I saw somebody this morning talking about WrestleMania 40. It was like, look, I know that WWE has had a lot of issues here, and like here's all the problems that they've had in like the past like 20 years and the reasons why like I'm hesitant to support them. But when The Undertaker appears behind The Rock, choke slams him, and then they both disappear, leaving only the belt. Like it's so crazy cool.
That was fucking awesome. The fact that they were able to pull off having dope spots with legends and then removing them all completely from the occasion and not taking anything away from Cody's spot was amazing. That's art.
Yeah.
It was art. Like, it was beautiful.
It was real Endgame shit.
Yeah, no, I was saying that, like, before the match, but this was, like, the Avengers Endgame. This was, like, the end of the Infinity Saga for Cody
Which I
Rhodes.
like this more than Endgames. I don't even like Avengers Endgame. This was my Endgame.
I watched Endgame as a huge fan, and this meant more to me. Like, I loved Endgame, and I loved this more. It was just fucking awesome. Like, that was the moment, that was the same moment in Endgame where all the portals were coming through, and they were all returning from the Thanos snap. That was the same thing.
Yeah.
After that, Cody finally used his Crossroads move 3 times in a row, like he tried to do, and what cost him the match at WrestleMania 39. And he finally finished the 3rd Crossroads and pinned Roman Reigns and created the most historic moment in WWE in the last like 25 years. And it was just magical. And they celebrated for like literally 25 minutes afterwards, where a bunch of wrestlers, like, well, pretty much like all the winners from the show that weren't heels, came out and congratulated and celebrated with him. Triple H came out and celebrated with him. Cody Rhodes' mom got in the ring, and he actually handed the belt to his mom, like he said he was going to do.
Oh, we didn't even mention Seth freaking Rollins coming in as the Shield with the full armor.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. I forgot, because he got squashed immediately. I forgot he had.
Yeah.
So after John Cena, in between John Cena and I believe The Rock had already come out. So in between The Rock coming out and then the Undertaker coming out for The Rock, Seth Rollins, the Shield intro hit, and for a second, for a little bit there, I did think, like, holy shit, is it going to be Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley coming out? And it wasn't. It was Seth Rollins, and he actually got speared immediately by Roman Reigns, and that was the entire spot.
Yeah.
He just got fucking squashed like a bug, and then he rolled out of the ring, and that was it. What was a cool spot, though, was that there were a bunch of wrestlers in the ring celebrating Cody's win, but Seth Rollins was still on the outside because he got swatted, and Cody went out of the ring to say thank you to Seth, and they shook hands over it, and it was very cool. So it was a very cool match, very cool moment. It was amazing. One of my favorite moments from it is Samantha Irving holding back so many, like, trying so hard not to cry while she announces that Cody won and, like, that he's the new champion. Because I was like, I feel so much for you, Samantha. I would have so much trouble doing that. You can hear her voice, you can hear her, like, choking back tears during a lot of those. Like, when Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship, it was the same thing. When Damian Priest cashed in the Money in the Bank, it was the same thing. She was like, she couldn't even, like, say the whole thing, because usually they're like, Damian Priest is cashing in his Money in the Bank contract for the World Heavyweight Championship. But she was like, Damian Priest is cashing in his Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't even finish it. She's like, she even makes, like, the announcing feel real. Like, it's so, I love her so much. She's, like, one of the only, like, technically, like, not main people part of the show that is, like, one of my heroes. I love Samantha Irving because she's so passionate about just the announcing she does. And also, her husband is Ricochet, and Ricochet is awesome. So that's pretty cool, too.
It really feels like everybody just cares.
Truly. I think just, like, everyone won last night, or last weekend. I think just everybody won. It was a win for everybody.
Everybody wins, yeah.
I guess except for Roman Reigns.
I am so, like, I just want to know, like, where is he going to go? What's going to happen?
I have no idea. He wasn't on Raw at all. It's just gonna. Well, I guess he is a SmackDown superstar, so never mind. But
He's going to disappear for a while.
you know, we still have SmackDown to watch this week, so like it's just.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? But also, I was gonna say, and the wrestling news source I watch on.
My neighbors are now leaf blowing exceptionally close to my house, and I can see it being picked up. Awesome.
Let's go. I love hearing a good blowing going on next door. Anyway, I was going to say that I watch this, I get my wrestling news from this channel on YouTube called WrestleLamia, and they are a good channel for that, I would say. I would definitely check them out if you like wrestling and want to hear updates about stuff without having to, like, watch the shows. But they pointed out that Roman Reigns broke character while Cody was pinning him on the, like, winning one, and Roman was, like, smiling because he knew it was, like, over. Like, he was, like, happy that it was finally happening for Cody.
I didn't see that.
And for himself. And if you watch it back, you can definitely, like, see it if you know the context. And also, he when he got back to the top of the stage before he went backstage, you can see Paul Heyman embracing him while he's crying because he's like been through this long ass journey and it's finally over. Roman Reigns just like broke down at the top of the stage, and that made me kind of feel for Roman.
I mean, however you feel about Roman Reigns, love him or hate him, like for whatever he is in WWE, like you have to acknowledge your tribal chief and acknowledge that
you have to acknowledge your tribal chief.
That like
acknowledge me.
Being on top for that long comes with such an insane amount of pressure behind it. Like not only like do you have to be like fighting in the ring to maintain that, but also like you have to be number one for almost 4 years. And just imagine how that looks behind the scenes and what that actually like means to perform that and be that for so long.
Yeah, and not to like bloodline and like rock this, but if you think about the history of his family and the legacy he has to live up to in that, and how much he was just despised as a solo star when he started doing that after the Shield broke up, you have to think about how he rounded out, and also during his WWE run had to leave because of his leukemia and beat it.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge your tribal chief, and you have to like acknowledge how far he came from being one of the most hated, supposed to be forced down your throat baby faces of all time, and became the biggest star in wrestling, one of the biggest stars in wrestling of all time. Like the Rock of our modern day.
It's so much easier to appreciate him in retrospect.
You have to, you can't. It's nice being able to have the retrospective and the appreciation for him now that the story is finished, because that's kind of what everybody was waiting for. And I mean, for me, I knew 100% that Cody was going to win the match because I just know, first of all, I know Paul Levesque like that. And also, we go way back. And
I knew him when he was Double H.
I knew him before he got the third H. And it's just incredible. Like I've been trying, I've had my notebook open for the entire weekend, and I couldn't come up with the words to describe how I felt about all these matches. And don't go to like the YouTube comments and be like, you just talked about how you felt about it for an hour. That's not what I mean. Like,
very different.
This is a talking show. I have to keep talking. So I'm just like saying stuff. I was going to like list like each match and the winners and write my feelings out about each match. But this WrestleMania changed me. Like, I feel like a different person after this WrestleMania. Like, it's just like Cody's the top guy. The Judgment Day now doesn't have the tag titles, but have the 2 world heavyweight champions for men and women. There's still so much potential. There's also like Drew McIntyre's storyline is now focused on getting a rematch with Damian Priest, and also still CM Punk. CM Punk's probably going to not be injured anymore soon, so we're going to have to figure out well, I guess technically he's not injured anymore, but I don't know if he's cleared for wrestling, but we're going to have to see what happens when he comes back to the ring, considering he's still like one of the biggest stars that only has had one match so far.
We're really at the dawn of a new era that has been like on its way ushering in for the past couple years under Triple H. Like, this is truly like, we are in completely uncharted territory. There's no telling exactly what's going to happen from here. It's so open that like really anything could happen, but it's such a strong confidence within that like it's going to be good. Like, they have every single chess piece in place, and they are just like making insane plays that like, is just going to like carry forward.
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is that again, I'm trying to find the words for it. The beauty and the art of it is almost so magical that there's no physical, tangible thing you could compare it to, because the feeling is so beautiful and effective that there's no way to really like ground it to something in legitimate reality that would make sense to anyone else. What I was going to say about it too is that I believe it was yesterday morning, but at one point after they uploaded like highlights of the whole weekend and stuff, I went back and was watching like the highlights of everything and all the matches again, and I was bawling my eyes out at how beautiful and awesome it all was. And I was like, just like saying to myself, I love wrestling. Like, I'm so happy to be a wrestling fan. I'm so thankful I have such a stake in this world, because I am. Like, I've been a wrestling fan for, and I've said this, funny enough, like a million times over the weekend, but since y'all haven't heard it, I can say it again. I've been a wrestling fan for over 16 years, and to see it go from the point that CM Punk's like doing programs with Rey Mysterio, and Batista is still around feuding with John Cena, and Teddy Long is still the SmackDown general manager and stuff like that. Like, to go from that to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 is, I feel like this was a part of my life. The other part I was going to talk about that you could like hardly describe with words is how amazing and like monumental it is that they were able to actually live up to a multiple years storyline buildup, and they actually were able to fully satisfyingly deliver on that buildup for that long. Because I can't imagine the pressure of a creative team having to capture an audience and satisfy millions of people when there's so much pressure from how much you have to satisfy, because it wasn't just Cody and Roman. You have to make the whole thing good. Like,
Yeah.
they can't just find the one piece. The adventure has to be good too, you know? Like, you can't just get to the end. You have to tell the stories, and with how many different storylines go on in WWE, you have to satisfy all of those. And they somehow did that while also making the one that was the biggest deal the biggest ending and the most satisfying one.
It all just came together so perfectly, and it went off without a hitch, and they built it up in such an incredible way that every part of it felt important. That there was never like a dull moment throughout WrestleMania 40. Everything felt like it had a reason to be there, and when it got there, it did what it needed to do, and it did it well. Everything about it is just such a complete picture. Like, there's that meme of like the horse drawing and it gets shittier as it goes along. Like, this is not that. This is like, it was 100% quality throughout. Everything about it was just complete.
Yeah, this horse is beautiful and only keeps getting more beautiful. It's funny too that they call the World Heavyweight Championship the Workhorse Championship. That workhorse is beautiful. Yeah, this is like, it's like the I'll say a meme also. You just reminded me of that. It's the same thing. It's like when it's like a meme of evolution from like monkey to man, and the man is like facing backwards and he's like, nah, hold up, we need to go back.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. But yeah, it's like the opposite of that. This was just true art and beauty. I mean, it was it was very similar, because there's been a lot of stories with Roman Reigns, but this being like the best and longest draining buildup, it was the most satisfying and biggest ending to one of those. Like, Sami Zayn had a chance to beat Roman Reigns for that championship after his like bloodline run when that was all happening. When, by the way, for the record, Sami Zayn is the funniest part of the bloodline that ever happened. He invented the term Usi, which I don't know if you've seen the clip, but it was Roman being very mad at like Jey Uso's behavior in the bloodline as of recent, when that was happening, not like now recent. And Sammy was trying to defend Jey, and he was like, he just hasn't been feeling very Usi lately. And it turned into a trending word. It trended, it was chanted at every show. And when Jey took some time off after that, Roman Reigns came on the next SmackDown and was like, he's working on being a little more Uzi.
That's so funny.
How could you not acknowledge that? The best part of Sami Zayn's run is that he broke Roman Reigns' character way more than is like considered professional, and Roman Reigns acknowledged his comedic chief. Like, it was fucking hilarious. He just hasn't been feeling very Uzi lately. Roman Reigns immediately I'll show you the clip, but Roman Reigns immediately after that like smiled and turned away, and you could just tell on his face his thoughts were like, this motherfucker did not just say Uzi. Like, I think it was the closest thing to like an Uzi joke that they could say on TV.
It's so silly.
I don't even know how Sami Zayn is so talented. I don't even know how he could say shit like that and like never break character. There was also like a backstage segment where it was Sami Zayn and like the Usos in Solo sitting in just like a room, and they were being interviewed about something, and Sami was just like, we're about to leave and go get dinner. Go to Waffle House? I know these guys love Waffle House, and they were just like They were just like, boys, go get some Waffle House. I don't know why Waffle House, but like Jay just looked over at Sammy and was like, it was so funny to see Jay like embrace Sammy's comedy. It was just great.
Sami Zayn in that position is so perfect because the bloodline is such a terminally serious thing at all times. And he's just like, Sami Zayn is basically just like, boys, are you ready for dinner? Come on, stop playing outside. It's time to come in.
Yeah. No, he's like the mom from that one Adam Sandler bit that's the same comedy skit album as the Respect thing and the Cult. There's this bit on there where this mom is like, I was like, Johnny, why don't you come in and Mama will play with the cock and balls? Why don't you come inside?
Yeah.
It's just basically that. Like, just as funny and just as weirdly fitting in, but like not at all. Like, I don't know, because they call Sami Zayn was like donned an honorary oos.
It's the true embodiment of we rockin' with Mark.
What is that?
That's the meme. It's like this like family gathering or whatever. And they're like, we got the whole family together and we got Mark. And he's just like the one white guy.
We got Mark.
You know, we rockin' with Mark. Is like that's like the one. That's Sami Zayn.
That's hilarious. Sami Zayn is Mark. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. I've never been a fan of any like TV show like this or like any sport like this, and this is like both. And it makes my heart so happy to see when like the world is embracing wrestling and like enjoying the same like blurred lines that I'm enjoying as a fan, and it's like bringing new fans in, especially when like those fans are like some of my friends because I showed them a wrestling thing. Like, to have gotten you somewhat more invested in wrestling over the last like couple years has been amazing, because I have enjoyed so much media with you over the years that bringing you into something that's been a passion of mine since I was literally 8 years old makes me so happy.
I wasn't even that big into wrestling when I was a kid, and I was like completely separated from the world of wrestling entirely until a couple years ago. But you're like, hey, you want to watch a Royal Rumble? And I was like, fuck yeah. And now, like, here I am, because we just spent the past hour talking about WrestleMania 40, and it's one of the most interesting things we've ever talked about.
Yeah, and it's just like cool to be part of something like that. And it was funny too, because it was my friend in childhood that got me into wrestling. I didn't find it myself. He got me to come over and watch SmackDown every Friday. So like this is like full circle for me. And sorry, I'm saying like a lot because I'm just like rambling. I just did it again. Because I'm rambling. But
it's fine.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm an emotional fucking mess. I'm sick, and I just went through WrestleMania 40. And I'm so excited. Like,
be excited. Fuck it.
I genuinely, in the 16 years I've been watching wrestling, have never been so in the dark about what's going to happen next. I have never wondered so much what's going to happen next. Or been, like, so distracted by the wrestling world that I can't even focus on my life anymore. It's incredible. And thankfully, wrestling is something that I have like a platform to speak on things nowadays that I can like talk about it and enjoy it with all of you too, because it would be fun. You know, I don't want to be like a wrestling creator, but because I play video games and make jokes, but it's awesome.
Yeah, this is about as far as it gets in like the being a wrestling podcast.
Yeah, but you know, it will be when stuff is happening.
When it's hyper relevant, we'll talk about it.
Right. And we do the same thing with other interests of ours. And the wrestling world is changing the real world right now. And it's crazy. And there's so much more to come. And I'm happy to hear that it's the start of a new era and that was a perfect transition from an ending to a beginning. It's kind of insane how smoothly they did that. Like, I have to commend the creative board at WWE for this. I mean, especially Paul Levesque for this whole thing, because it's funny because Paul Levesque doesn't even enjoy calling it the Paul Levesque era, because he's all about how much like it's about or it takes like a village to make stuff like this happen, and it does. But with him being at the head of the table, the tribal chief, none of it would get done. So it kind of is his responsibility.
Yeah, he said in the post show, he was like, he was asked like what it's like to be Triple H right now. He was like, you know, it's like the way that I am with it is like, as long as it's fun, then I'm here, I'm with it. And if it's not fun, then we got to find something else to do. So being Triple H right now, it's pretty fun.
What was funny about it is that was the first thing he said. It was like, how does it feel to be Triple H right now? He's like, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was also funny that like the last thing he said was and next, like, didn't my wife look good? Damn, like my wife looked good out there. It was really funny. And I actually went back and watched that clip because we were watching it, like I said earlier, we did that watch party in my Discord server, and on the second night was when Stephanie McMahon opened the show, and I had to go finish doing the makeup I was doing for the show. I did like WrestleMania 40 makeup the second night, and I had to go finish doing my makeup during the opening of the show, so Mia saw the Stephanie McMahon thing while I was gone, and it was cool. It was cool to see her come back, because she's had a lot of pressure, because she is well known for being like one of the sweetest people backstage. She's always been like so kind, like she's just like Paul but woman. And that's the thing too, is like Paul Levesque is such a good husband that it feels so weird like having to call him Paul now. Like obviously I can call him Triple H, but he's transitioned in my mind from like Triple H to Paul Levesque, so I'm like getting used to saying that. He's such a good husband in the way that he was always like, you know, I hated seeing Stephanie's confidence get like so knocked by like, he didn't mention it, but like, you know, the whole like Vince controversy and stuff, like she's his daughter, and her coming back to wrestling during that time, people would have probably been all over it. And, you know, she's just not Vince. And thankfully she was able to come back and people were so excited to see her. And so Triple H was like, it was glad to see her home, because he was like, you know, I see her like home all the time, but like, he meant her being back in WWE because that is her home, and she's the McMahon I would much rather see there over Shane or Vince.
I think this makes for a decent moment to wrap up at this time.
We hope you were able to enjoy WrestleMania 40 as much as we did.
Yes, thank you for listening to us indulge about this incredible thing that happened over the weekend. And we will be seeing you right before the next weekend, next Friday at our usual time. And we hope to see you there, except we won't see you there because we record this in advance. But we'll feel it in our heart. So say a prayer for us and have a good day.
See you later.